We're now going to work through part 3 of this 5.1 to 5.3 quiz review. We will look at radical equations, which have a variable within a square root. So we'll go ahead and do, there's actually another type, so we'll do these two, and then I'll do one more part to do the last type of question. So let's jump in. I have kind of the steps we'll think through on this first, in the middle here. So it says isolate the square root. Well, isolate means get it by itself. So on number 5, there's a -3 multiplied by the square root. It's multiplied by the square root, so in order to isolate the square root, we will go ahead and divide by -3. That leaves us with 10 equals the square root of 2b plus 98. So now we are on step 2. It says square both sides to cancel the square root. Make sure you square the other side correctly. So we'll square both sides, and the reason we're squaring both sides is because a square root cancels with a squared. If you're just squaring the square root, that's why we isolate. And it says this is actually, we'll see, this will make more sense for number 6, but it says make sure you square the other side correctly. Well, we're squaring 100. I mean, we're squaring a 10, which is 100. And then we have 2b plus 98. And now that we've squared both sides, we eliminated that square root, and now this is a pretty easy equation to solve. We'll subtract 98 from both sides. And that gives us 2 equals 2b. Dividing both sides by 2. We get b equals 1. Now, when we take square roots, we do have to check our answer because we could get extraneous solutions. So we'll come back and we'll plug in 1. So we're going to put 1 in for b. I guess we can just write this in here. So we're going to put a 1 in here. So we have 2 times 1 is 2. Plus 98 is 100. The square root of 100 is 10. 10 times -3 is -30, which does work. So b equals 1 is correct. All right, let's move on to number 6. Going through these same rules, it will look a little bit different, and we'll see why shortly. It says isolate the square root. Well, in this case, the square is isolated. It's on the left side of the equal sign by itself. There's nothing multiplied to the square root or added. So we're finished with that part. We're going to square both sides now. We square both sides in order to cancel the square root. And so on this side, we have 6v minus 15. And then it says make sure you square the other side correctly. So v minus 1 squared means v minus 1 times v minus 1. Do not just square the v and square the 1. And we've actually talked through several times how to multiply that through quickly. There's a nice little pattern, but we'll use FOIL here. So we got v squared minus v plus 1. And so we have 6v minus 15 equals v squared minus 2v plus 1. Well, we have a quadratic equation because we have a variable that has an exponent of 2. So when we have a quadratic equation, it did say in there it could be linear or quadratic. So to solve a quadratic, we want to get everything to the same side. Now, when we get everything to the same side, it's easiest to have the squared term be positive. So we'll go ahead and subtract 6v from both sides. And at the same time, we can add 15 to both sides. And that leaves us with 0 on the left. V squared minus 8v plus 16 is on the right. And now that we have a quadratic equation, we can try factoring. If factoring doesn't work, we can do the quadratic formula. This does factor nicely. So this is going to be v and v. We need to get 16 So we got 1 and 16, 2 and 8, or 4 and 4. And we need 2 negatives. So looks like 4 and 4 is going to work for us. So that's just to check it. Negative 4v and a negative 4v does give us that negative 8v. And so we need to finish by solving. And, well, either v equals 4, because we want to make this equal 0, or v equals 4 from this one, which obviously we don't need to write 4 twice. So we'll just say v equals 4. Again, we do need to check our answer. So let's come back up to the top here and put in 4. Let's erase that stuff. So we'll put in 4 for v. So 6 times 4. So we put in 4 here as well. 6 times 4 is 24. Minus 15. 24 minus 15 is 9. The square root of 9 is 3, so the left side is 3, and 4 minus 1, 3 and 3. It works, so our answer is v equals 4.